What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Timeless Travelers Tutorials. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the TNT Elytra Launcher. With the release of 1.16.210 back in March of 2021, TNT Submerged in Water will finally launch us up in the air, not just in creative, but finally in survival as well. Now, as you can see here, we reached about 123 blocks. I was at about y = 5. So there are other designs out there that can launch you up much higher. This is a bit lower budget, save for the end rod. We have a few different options that you can actually choose from that will not only be a lower budget, but may also change how high you get launched up, because we can modify these panels right here. You can also change the post right here, and all those things will affect how high you launch up, and we will go over the budget options at the end of the tutorial. Overall, putting this together is very easy, very cheap, and you could do this with just as little as a few drops of TNT. That will most likely be the most expensive part for making this entire thing functional. And you will definitely want this in your world, because who doesn't want to launch up very high in the air without having to use rockets to kick off their flight? And of course, don't forget to leave a like down below. It'll help the channel, spread this video around. Subscribe if you have not already, and of course, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on all future videos that I upload. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Now go ahead and check down below in the description for a materials list, but it's going to be very simple. Pretty much everything in my hotbar is all that you're going to need. Now we're going to start off by doing the circuitry and everything that makes it work first, and then I will show you how I did the casing, and then we will also talk about different options depending on your budget as well as your desired launch level. We'll get into that a little bit more later too. So go ahead and you can get out your end rod, and we're going to just kind of pick a 3x3 space in your head. You want to place your end rod right in the middle of that 3x3 space, or you can just go ahead and carve out a 3x3, place a temporary, then place this right on top. Okay, we want to make sure this is above the empty space. We're going to drop down here, and we're going to replace the perimeter with dispensers facing in. Then we want to get out our water. Go ahead and fill this in until you have yourself water sources all the way around. Then we're going to get our redstone and bring this all the way around on top of every single dispenser. Then we're going to want to go ahead and we're going to make a bit of a diving board. Now this is just so we can get to the end rod. We're going to place one right here and then place one just like that. We're going to put one more right there. That way we have access to the end rod. We can just kind of show up to our launcher and get right there. Okay. Now we're going to place a solid block right on top of that dust and then slap a button, any button that you want right there. Now, my dispensers have the TNT inside them already, but what you're also going to want to do, make sure that you open up your dispensers and place however much TNT you want to put in there. And that's it for putting all of this together, making it work. All you have to do is make sure you have your elytra or some platform wherever you end up landing that will get you to where you want to go safely. Okay, and we could take a look here. Watch my Y level. So we just went from 70 all the way up to 240, which means that this actually gets us higher than the one shown in the earlier demonstration. The reason for that is because without the casing on, you actually are getting more exposed to the shockwave of the TNT, which allows you to blast up higher. So if you want high altitude, the highest altitude from this build, this is where you're going to want to be. You don't want the slabs covering the way, because that kind of dampens the effect of the TNT blast. However, if you don't want to, if you end up being clumsy and you keep falling in and you don't want that to happen, then you want to work on the casing. But for safety purposes, you don't actually have to worry if you fall in, because you'll see here, of course, you're safe because you're touching water. You're going to launch up almost as high, and you, of course, won't die. So you're not going to die or anything. Nothing bad's going to happen. You could just, it's just kind of annoying to fall in and out. And you could just, of course, hop out as well. But if you want to, here's what we do, at least here's what I do for the casing. Let's hop back into creative for a moment. And I just bring these stairs all the way around. Just kind of a decorative little piece. Nothing too fancy. Oh, we're going to put that here. And then with the slabs, just to kind of make sure that we don't fall over, we're going to go ahead and bring these all the way around, covering every spot, of course, except for the end rod space. And that way, now you have a much more sleek, nicer looking launch pad that you can just set yourself up right here. And just like before, as you saw in the demonstration, it's going to launch you up not as high. See, we only hit about 178 there, almost 180. So not as high, but if you still want a nice little launch pad to save a rocket or two, you're still going to get what you want out of this design. Now, of course, you will not have access to end rods until much later in the game. All these other resources are a little easier to acquire. The TNT will probably be the hardest after or before the end rods. So what you can use instead of an end rod is you can use a fence post. Just go ahead and replace it there. If you take a look at the Y level, we're going to get launched up not as high as the end rod. You see from 70 to 150. That is about, what, 80 blocks? Okay. And we can also use, there we go. We can also use a wall, any sort of wall you have access to. Just go ahead and place one down there instead. And from 70 up to 120, so basically 50 blocks. So you won't get as high with the wall. We are going to put that down here as the lowest ranking one. And then the fence post is going to be the second highest. End rod will be the third highest. Now there is another factor that can control the height of your launch. So we're going to go ahead and place the top tier one back here. Now, if you want to go even higher, you can go ahead and just keep this 3x3 completely open. It's entirely up to you. You can leave the circuitry bare or just have this as we have right now. It doesn't matter. As long as you have nothing obstructing this 3x3, we're going to get the maximum height out of our launch. If we see here from 70 all the way up to almost 240. So almost 170 blocks compared to all of the other measurements that we got. So end rod and keeping a 3x3 will maximize your height. But if you want to kind of just, keep things a little more tidy, then you can just cover these things up with your slabs. And that concludes how to put together the TNT/Elytra Launcher. Thank you all again so much for watching. I am Timeless Traveler, and this was Timeless Traveler's Tutorials. Let me know down below in the comments if you're excited that we can finally launch ourselves in survival with TNT launchers once more, and we finally have a really fun and powerful way of launching ourselves before we go into flight with our Elytra. And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you have not already, and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date whenever I upload a new video. So until next time, you all take care, have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video.